Welcome, all, except of course the narcissist, which I'm sure you will watch anyways because you want to spy on your victim, your supply. After I started having a bunch of kids, which is another way that narcissists will trap someone, is by impregnating them a bunch, because if we're like buried with kids, then it makes it hard to leave. And that is one of the reasons why I stayed as long as I did. He was the account manager of everything, which I didn't realize until we got divorced, that he was the account manager of every single account. As soon as he breathed the smell of separation, which I wasn't even planning on separating from him, he immediately put all of our money into a some other account. I don't even know. Hid all the money and then told me that uh, that was for taxes or something, and just tried to make excuses. And then I was, trapped in the house with him when I eventually wanted a separation with no money, because I was the one who took care of the kids. I stopped working when I got pregnant with my first child. Everything was about money for him, and I couldn't really go, like, take care of myself financially. And I did try to prepare ahead of time, because right before I got a separation, I realized that I was dealing with a narcissist. Like, a whole like explosion happened, and they said to save money and have your own bank account, the same stuff that I'm saying right now, so that you're not in a position, especially if you have kids, where they tie your hands and you can't do anything. And I even tried to get a job at one point and worked there, and I remember he would try to make me late for work, and like didn't have the extra car available for me to go to work, and he would be late. And he made the mistake of telling my daughter, because she said, "Well, we need to get back because mom's going to be late for her job." And he said to her, "I don't give a shit." So I found that out later, that he was purposely stalling so that I would be late for work. What I wish I would have done is always is been independent enough that when separation came, I wouldn't be screwed, basically, because of money. If I had at least established in schooling somehow for a career for when the kids get older or whatever, or if I leave, if I like, I could have done online schooling while I was married to set up a career somehow for myself. Or I could have my own bank account and known that you need to have your own. You can't be the account manager for all the accounts. That way, he can't just make money disappear. Even had my own phone, not with him being the account manager, because later he spied on everything that I did. He even read my journals. But, anyways, also another thing that really screwed me from getting divorced was having to deal with car problems and not knowing that it's something you have to maintain. And I've had car issues ever since I got divorced. So I wish I was more independent with, so that when it was time to separate, I wouldn't have been like, oh, well, fuck. Like, I could have even have your own bank account and start always savings. Have your own savings. Have it in your own name. So one thing that really saved me was, I I secretly went and got a credit card under my name, and I was able to get like a $20,000 credit card when he had hid all the money. And I was able to get a lawyer when it was time to go to court. I did know that I had to get a lawyer because I knew that he was going to try to destroy me as much as he could. So he would destroy me less with a lawyer. Because I did to completely shut down when I went through the whole divorce process, and I was not aware of anything. I mean, I did have good lawyers, that understood narcissism, or I made the mistake of going to the wrong lawyer first, and she did. I thought she knew about narcissists, but I lost a lot of money paying her. But then I found this other lawyer that was amazing, and she helped me get destroyed less, but knew how to make him happy money wise so that I wouldn't go away with nothing. So she basically did certain things to make him feel like he was getting more money, because you cannot win with a narcissist. They will fight you to the death. So with the court, another thing that I wish I would have known about that I didn't is when you have kids with a narcissist, all the details matter when they're trying to finalize child support, which unfortunately I had to rely on child support from him because I didn't have a career, which is the whole ironic thing about it, because he turned my one daughter against me, saying that he like told her and all the kids how much he pays me in child support and spousal support, which he actually lied to, and he said he paid me more than he actually did, because all the kids told me, and they all were kind of like upset at me for it, and then I realized it's actually against it's like emotional abuse to involve the kids into the financial stuff, but he was playing the victim to my kids because he was trying to convince my daughter to live with him, and she does now live with him. At this very moment, I, even though my child support has gone down so much, I almost feel liberated because I don't want to depend on him for child support, even though it's set up for the person in the marriage, whoever gets, less or doesn't work as much, it's supporting that person that doesn't have a career so that you're able to go get a career once you get divorced. It's not set up so that you can just go be a bougie, like spend all this money on yourself. That's not what it's for. But my ex, from the very beginning, couldn't stand that he had to pay me child support. Like, it was always something he was being manipulative about to get the numbers down as low as possible, even if it meant stressing out the kids and hurting them and hurting, well, he wanted to hurt me, but hold on one second. So another thing that I really wish that I would have been more aware about is in the whole court process and the percentage of custody affects it too. And it was also because I had been a stay-at-home mom. I did all the primary stuff. So it didn't make sense to me to have 50% custody because he, even when we were married, he wasn't like a present dad. Like, I didn't want 50% custody, and I thought it was really weird that he immediately went to that. And then I found out later, like, it just seemed suspicious to me. And then I found out later, oh, he wants 50% because the more custody he gets, the less he has to pay in child support. And 50% is as low as he can go. Like, you can go battle that out in court and he can, like, but I wish I had known more about the court system, because with the court system, most of the time, like now, like, they fight more for both parents to get custody. And back a while ago, it was more favored towards the stay-at-home mom to get more custody, but now they're fighting for the dad to have 50% custody, and usually the only time somebody gets more than that is if they're like a drug addict or something. When I didn't when I wasn't in agreement with him about the custody, he just did other things to manipulate the situation. He all of a sudden became this dad that was like a good dad. He was always around the kids, and constantly. And at first I was like, why is he doing that? Like, he never just wants to hang out with the kids, but he was trying to, you know, look like the all of a sudden present dad. And I think I even said in family court services, I'm like, he wasn't a present dad before, so he's only doing this because he wants to have 50% custody. But they didn't care. He ended up getting 50% custody. Another thing that I didn't know was it was set up in our judgment that he was supposed to put the money, the child support, into our joint account, and it wasn't regulated through the court. And I had no idea that I could have had that happen. I didn't realize that he had set up our court thing to say that his wages couldn't be garnished because back then he was an independent. Because he had set it up that he puts the money into our joint account, it wasn't regulated by the court. So I was unaware of my rights and that I could go get help. And I was overwhelmed constantly financially, which I realized he was pulling the strings behind that to keep me from knowing that I could get help. It's getting really dark. I need to turn lights on or stop filming. So anyways, I if you are in a situation with a narcissist and you have kids and you're getting divorced in the court system, make sure you have a good lawyer so you don't have to spend hours in mediation with a narcissist because that will be never ending. Make sure that you go through child support services to regulate his payments or her, whatever situation you're in. So that's, just a tiny bit of the money situation, but uh, be independent, you know, and even if you're super independent, you might not even end up with a narcissist because most of them are very controlling. And if they can't like control you through money or knowing how to like take care of your car or have like a good career, then it's going to be harder for a controlling narcissist to find you because you're not going to be available for them to control you. So be as independent as possible, know your shit, and when it comes to court, like I said, have a good lawyer and know what's going on with the court and how your whole judgment is being set up. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you all for listening, and I hope it helped someone out there. All right.